Why didn't you think he was traded, Pete?
Who's got the money for Odell Beckham? I mean, Dan, the biggest problem at the trading deadline this year is that there were a record number of teams within $5 million of the salary cap or less. The Rams really wanted Von Miller, but they told the Broncos, listen, we have no money and we've already redone all the contracts that we can. The only way this gets done is if you take the vast majority of his money. The Rams paid an extra third-round pick for Von Miller because the Broncos were willing to pay $9 million of the 9.7 that was left. So with Odell, I mean, I'm trying to think of the number now. I wrote it in my column a week ago. That if anybody wants him, basically they got to commit whatever 21 million bucks to him over the next 3 years, and including this year. And it's just, I mean, does anybody really want to do that for a guy who A, gets hurt a lot, B, for whatever reason, okay, and no one really knows, but for whatever reason, he's not the receiver he was with the Giants. Is he not getting targeted enough? That's what he would say. I mean, but Dan, his yards per catch is way down from Giants days. It's just he's kind of a mystery player right now. Plus, he's either about to turn 29 or 29. So, I don't know. Teams without money and not knowing what guy you're getting when you trade for Odell Beckham, I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, but it's just strange that he got there. And it felt like his mind was still in New York. Like the Giants sent you to the Browns. They wanted to punish you. And he kept like, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. I mean, they're a contender. He could be a media darling. Like, you want out of a situation that you would want into a situation where you got a chance to win a Super Bowl in Cleveland. You could be the star of this team. I'm just curious. When I watch, there are times when I can go a long period of time, I don't hear his name called.
Yeah, I think part of that is that, so he missed, I think, 9 games last year. He's missed a couple of games this year with injury. So, Dan, that's the big question. Who is he? And that the other part of this, I think, is, I mean, when you think about Odell Beckham Jr., okay, you think of a real explosive receiver. And, he just hasn't. I mean, he had a couple of plays last year against Dallas. I think one was even a running play, if I'm not mistaken, a reverse. And, he looked like the old explosive Odell. But to me, I mean, he's such a squeaky wheel. And at some point, you have to determine, and I'm sure the Browns have buyer's remorse, but at some point, you have to determine if that's worth it. And I'm sure a lot of teams around the league, I mean, look, we might sit here, Dan, and say, oh, his dad doing that's just a father protecting his son or whatever, being a fan, whatever it is. I mean, stuff like that gets into a locker room.
Yeah. Do
you want to trade for that? I mean, he's been as disruptive as he's been effective. And the other thing is, if you look at his career with the Giants, he was a touchdown machine. I mean, this guy has scored 7 touchdowns in 2.5 years with the Browns. I mean, he hasn't scored a touchdown since midseason last year. So what are you getting, Dan? That's the question.